Hi there. I wanted to do another how-to video for you. This time I wanted to show how I use a curling iron to create the waves that I wear in my hair very typically. I've already done half of my head. It's funny because this webcam is in reverse, so every time I think I'm touching the curly side of my head, I'm actually touching the other side. Anyway, I've already done half of my hair, as you can see, and I haven't brushed it out yet. Um, as I said in my last video for how to blow dry, letting your hair cool and set in the shape that you're putting it into is the key to getting the style to stay. So I'm not going to touch this side while I demonstrate the curling technique on the uncurled side of my head. But a few things first. I washed and blow dried my hair yesterday. I typically find that this is easier if I do this on second day hair. It's had a little bit of wear and tear on it, maybe some natural oils have built up, there's a little bit of product in it from the previous styling in the blow dry. And it's also 100% dry. If you wash and curl your hair on the same day and you have problems with your curl staying, a lot of times it's because you actually haven't gotten all of the wetness out of your hair, and that is going to be a big barrier to you having a style that stays. So that's part of the reason why I do it this way. And when I curl my hair, I actually use just a regular curling iron that I've removed the spring-loaded handle from, the little clamp that you would usually hold down on your hair. And it's because I don't like to take my hair and clamp and then roll it up into a curl. I actually prefer to take my hair and wrap it around the curling iron so that I get a nice soft wave rather than something that is a little more like cheerleader looking. I think that typically if you take your hair and clamp it and roll it, it's like very, very curly on the ends and then like kind of wavy in the mid lengths. This gives a more, this technique will give a more uniform curl, or wave rather, from the point at which you start curling towards the ends. And I've chosen to use a 1-inch barrel. This is a good size if you have like long-ish hair. If your hair is above what I like to call armpit length or at your shoulders, you might want to try a 3/4 inch curling iron. That's going to give you a tight enough curl. You want to ultimately be able to wrap your hair around the curling iron at least 2 or 3 times to give it the type of wave that I'm demonstrating. So without further ado, this is how I do my wave. Um, First things first, you're going to want to section your hair. I start at the bottom just because it's easier for me, and I just section with my fingers. I don't get too fancy. Everything that's not going into the curl section, bear with me here. Like I said, this mirror effect is kind of messing me up a bit. Anything that's not going to be currently curled, I just clip up with a duckbill clip so it's out of the way while I'm using it. And then I take my section of uncurled hair, and I like to actually hold the curling iron kind of upside down, or maybe like at a 45-degree angle. That way when I'm done curling the hair, it slides off of the end of the iron a lot more easily. So for the underside, and especially because I'm right-handed and I'm working on my left side, I typically go behind my head and just kind of wrap it around. And I'll hold it in for a little while just until it's like hot enough to the touch, and be careful not to touch the iron itself. I've done that a lot of times on accident. But once the hair is like almost too hot to touch, it's time to take it out and move on to the next section. Also, I don't have asbestos legs. I actually have a really thick towel sitting on my lap, so when you see me setting the curling iron down in my lap, that's what's going on. Just for fun, sharing that information. I have a feeling this might be a little bit too long of a video again. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster than I did last time, just for the sake of you not wasting your whole evening or whatever time of day it is that you're watching this video. So I'm just going to continue doing sections like this all the way up till I get to the crown. And this next section I'll take kind of around the ear level. And it really is just kind of the same technique being repeated over and over. The smaller the section you take, the less time you have to hold your hair in the curling iron. that helps a lot. It also helps a lot if your hair doesn't fall out of the clip that you put it into. Let's try that again. Okay. So in my previous video, I had like a moment where my hair got really tangled in a brush, and I didn't edit it out because I thought it might be a little bit more encouraging for people that are watching a video of how to do anything to your hair if even someone who does hair for a living would show that it's not always perfect every time you try to do it. Sometimes you're just gonna have like fail moments. Sometimes it's not gonna be easy. And looking back, I know my section was too large. But I think I wanted to leave that in there just so that everybody who watches knows that like you're gonna have moments that are less than perfect when you're trying to do your own hair, and that's okay. In fact, it's just part of the way things go. And I think limiting your discouragement is a good thing so that you can be encouraged that this is something you can do for yourself. So there's that, and my explanation of why later on I won't edit out my hair section falling, which I could easily do. So you can just keep taking small sections all the way around your head until you reach the top. It's really quite simple. In fact, I'm most likely either going to speed up or edit out the next few steps as I make it to the top of my head, and then show you how you can actually style it a little bit differently on each side of my head by doing it in different ways from one another. Because the great thing about this curl is that it's just a base for whatever you would like to um, style yourself as. If you want it to be a little bit more messy and bohemian, maybe don't wrap the ends around quite as tightly. Leave the ends like a little bit straighter. If you want it to be a little bit more polished, you might let it cool all the way and then use a brush to smooth it out and just do a light little veil of hairspray. Beach texturizing spray, which is kind of like a popular product right now that a lot of companies make. That's one of my favorite things to use when I'm styling my waves that I've set in my hair, because it gives a little bit of hold and a little bit of texture without actually making your hair stiff and crunchy the way that hairspray or other styling products can. So I would encourage you to check those out if you feel like it's hard for you to do this without hairspray and you don't like the feel of hairspray or anything like that. Okay, moving on. Okay, so now my hair is looking super fabulous and Taylor Swift-like, because that's what happens when the curls are first set. There's a couple of different ways to go about styling them after they've been set. Usually at this point I would say go brush your teeth, put your makeup on, go have your cup of coffee, do whatever it is that you can do to give your hair time to just completely cool down so that it's cold to the touch. This side that I did before I started shooting the video is completely cold to the touch. I'm going to show you how to make it like a little bit smoother. Typically, you're going to just want to grab a regular hairbrush and just literally brush through. It's nothing fancy. And you'll have like little spots like this that want to be a smidge rebellious. You can kind of pull them out a little bit and just smooth them down. And this is where you would just take the hair and brush it until it's all as uniform as you'd like it to be. And then you're going to do just a nice light veil of hairspray over the top of it, and that's going to help hold it. My favorite look, though, is to have something that's a little bit more wild and beachy. And so on this side, which is not 100% cool, but like in the previous video, I'm not going to make you wait until my hair cools all the way down. So what I use typically is we're Kevin Murphy salon. I mean, we have other products, but primarily our styling products where I work are Kevin Murphy, and I love them because they are developed for editorial shoots and fashion, and they are really, really good for styling and restyling, because typically in an editorial setting, the hairdresser is going back in between shots and rearranging and restyling the model's hair so that it's just perfect for the shot that they need to get. And so these products are flexible and made to work that way. I don't work for them. I just really like the products, so I'm not trying to like necessarily tell you this is the end all be all of products, but I've had a lot of great success with it, and so I can speak to that experience, which is why I tend to sing the praises of Kevin Murphy products. So this is the Hair Resort spray, and it's just a beachy texturizing spray. Paul Mitchell makes a great one. There are probably loads of these products on the market. I like this one. It smells like summer. It's kind of orangey and a little bit tropical smelling. So typically once my hair is all cooled down, I'll just kind of like take my fingers from underneath and rake it out and just kind of like fluff my hair up. Seems super complicated, but it's really not. And then once that's done, and it's looking nice and full in the way that I'd like it to look, I'll kind of pick up sections of it and just spritz the product through and then ruffle it up even a little bit more. And that just gives me a nice piecey, beachy separation to the curls that I have, and it's giving me a little bit of hold as well. It's not just like texture, but it's also hold, because the Hair Resort product is a curl enhancer. So it's meant to enhance the curl. And then you kind of just, tuck the little pieces away, get it the way that you would like it to look, and that is pretty much going to stay that way more or less, at least for the first day that you've done your hair. Typically, I think I've said before, I'm not an everyday hair washer, so I like to wash it once or twice a week and style it according to how dirty my hair is. So today's second day hair, this is the day that I would typically, if I've just kind of done a rough blow dry and not put a ton of effort into an actual blowout, on the second day I'll put a little bit of wave in my hair, and this serves to help hide the oils that will continue to crop up as the days go by with me not washing my hair. So then this is what it looks like on the first day, and as the week progresses it gets a little bit more funky and maybe less coiffed looking and a little bit more wild and slept on, which I rather like. And then just finally, one last thing is, if you've gone through and you've taken the effort to curl your hair and you're not going to wash it, the way that I preserve my hair and its style when I'm in the shower is, rather than put my hair all up and try to like put it in a plastic cap, I actually follow the wave pattern. I've curled all my hair away from my face because it's a nice look. It kind of opens things up. I don't feel closed in, very like 90s. You know how everybody had those layers around their face and it was very curled in. That's not really a modern look. So what I'll typically do is, when I'm going to go in the shower, I'll take my hair and split it down the center like I have now, and I'll just kind of twist my hair in the direction of the curl pattern that I have set in, since my hair has no natural curl pattern, and twist it around and do these like kind of weird little Princess Leia-esque buns on either side of my head. And I'll hold them in place with a bunch of hairpins all the way around. And if you feel like your hair is going to get wet, or if you have hair that is curly and you want to prevent moisture from getting to it, you can put a shower cap on over this. But I'll do this on both sides of my head. And then when I hop in the shower, it's almost as if the steam resets the curl for me, which usually has gotten a bit flat from sleeping on it the night before. And that helps me to revive my wave without having to bust out the curling iron again and start over from scratch. Obviously, there are some days when your hair is just super flat. You've got like a really straight strand that needs to be recurled. You can utilize the exact same method that I demonstrated to just recurl those sections. But typically, if you use a bun like this, and then when you come out of the shower, you can just kind of give it a good shake and put a little bit more of product in it, like the Hair Resort spray that I demonstrated, or something along those lines that works for you. You can get another day out of your curls, or more days out of your curls if you're me and don't wash your hair for 4 days. Hope that information is helpful. If you have any other tutorials that you'd like to see, or anything that you have questions about, please feel free to put it in the comment section, and I'll either address the questions if they're straight off questions, or if they're suggestions for a future tutorial. I will go ahead and hopefully build up a nice little library for you to choose from when you are looking to style your own hair. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great week.